Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on Joe Carr from the Dedicated Joe podcast and Serenity Kids. We talk about trying to motivate your kid to do something, being late diagnosed with autism, how that diagnosis and therapy really helped him, male initiation rites, learning how to be the husband and dad your family needs, community around that journey, learning to regulate your emotions, the damage shame can do, reparenting yourself, and shadow work. I did an episode of the Dedicated Joe podcast that you guys should all go check out. And I really do just want to say thanks to Joe for being really honest, kind of jumping into things immediately and being open with his journey of learning what it meant to be to become the dad he really wants to be. So Joe, thanks for hanging out a couple times on a couple of calls, and thanks for keeping it real. Just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. So, Joe, welcome to an episode of the Imperfect Dads Podcast. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Great to be here. I'm super imperfect.
Yes.
So
then
ready.
you fit the criteria. I forgot to send the questionnaire of the ways in which you failed this week. Did I not send that over?
No, you didn't, but I'm sure I can come up with some.
That's fair.
I have one this morning, so it's good.
Did you really? What was your moment when you're like, damn it, this morning?
Well, I on my show yesterday I interviewed a behavior specialist.
Yeah.
On like science of human behavior. And she told me exactly how to motivate my kid to do stuff that she doesn't want to do. And then this morning I just completely did the opposite. Basically, she said it's all about sequential. It's like basically all of human behavior science can be wrapped up in the statement that humans do stuff because they want something. That's like the fundamental principle. So you figure out what a kid wants, and then you put the thing you want in between that and the thing.
Yeah.
And so it's all about sequential. So today she wanted to play. I knew she needed to put the chairs back that she'd moved, and she needed to brush her hair. I was like, okay, this is great. She should do that, and then we should play. And she's like, no, we'll play first and then I'll do it. And I was like, okay, guess what?
Those chairs are still out?
She did eventually do it, but I took every other tool I had to get her to do it, and tears and I mean, it was just ridiculous. I was like, I knew better than this. I just got trained on this, and then there you go.
In that moment, I try to do it correctly, to do the actual pattern, because as an adult, I had to learn that, because like as an adult, I would be like more like, well, eat the candy first, and then I'll do the reward first, and then I'll do the work, and like. At 38, I'm like, no, you won't. Stop lying to yourself. Go, Don't sit down and start zoning on your phone, reset the kitchen, like wipe down the table, and then do that. Because the second I sit down and start zoning on my phone, it's been 30 minutes, it's been 40 minutes, and then I don't have time to do the one thing that actually, like the responsible thing that makes me feel good about myself and like I'm being responsible.
Yep. So, got to figure out what we want. Put it in the way. So it was a good episode. I learned a lot about how to motivate myself, how to motivate her. Now I just got to actually do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of that's just like unlearning habits, I think, because it's easy to assume like, oh, I bet you we can do the fun thing first, and then we'll go do this real quick. And it's like, no, if you start fun stuff with the kid, why would they step away from fun? They don't want to.
Yeah. She keeps her promises a lot. About 75% of the time, she's pretty good at keeping her promises. So I like to trust her to keep her promises, but then then she doesn't. So it's like, then, and today's like today where she's like, I promise I'll do it. I really will. And it's like, she did technically do it. She didn't say, oh, I'll do it really easily. I'll do it without being asked more than once.
Yep.
But then it's like, then if she just breaks the promise, what is my recourse? Like, I have no recourse. Now I've already given away any kind of motivation I had. So I have to come up with new motivation, and it's frustrating. It breaks the relationship. And so now I know, like, play after hairbrush and stuff is put away. That's like we go through this every morning. Get dressed, eat breakfast, brush your hair, then we play.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how fast she does it when there's something that she wants. And how slow she'll do it if it's now it's time to go to school. Oh, the longer I brush my hair, the less time I get in the car to go to school. So,
it is fascinating to realize what motivates your kid and what consistently motivates your kid. Because I feel like one thing of motivation will work for 1 week, and then the next week, like, actually, I hate all of this, and you're like, man, I just created a system. Come on, I'm trying.
They just
here,
change.
kid.
They just grow out of shit so fast.
Yep.
Yeah, and we don't use any punishment or reward. Or I mean, I try not to use reward.
Yeah.
I know the like do stuff because they want something can sound
Yes.
like a reward. So it's not really about bribery. It's about sequence. It's just
Yes.
like we do this after this, which is different than you do this because you did this. So I try not to do that, though I still fall into that. Never use punishment. Don't believe in causing kids suffering, and the evidence says it doesn't work.
Correct.
So without those two tools that many parents rely on, everything's a negotiation.
Yep. That's what we do too, honestly. I mean, like, because I think punishment is the word I think of first also. I know I'm trying to teach consequences. So it is like, hey, if you don't actually go brush your hair, if your teeth aren't brushed, then we miss the bus. Now I've got to drive you to school, and here's what this morning looks like now. If you like, I just want them to understand the sequence, the pattern, the reality of it. Because like, as an adult, like, oh, why were you late? Well, it's because 30 minutes ago, I didn't realize if I don't do this right now, then I'm going to be late. And if I'm late, then for a job, I might get in trouble, not in trouble. I might have consequences I don't want to deal with. But trying to get out of the reward or punishment mindset is really hard because that's an easy way to teach. But like, as your kid gets older, like you have to find out what motivates them.
It's an easy way to manipulate.
It is too. Yes.
Control their behavior, but it doesn't always work because the punishment or the reward has to get bigger and bigger each time, or it just gets numb against it. But like manipulating, controlling my kid isn't what I want. I want to teach, as you said, I want them to be intrinsically motivated. I want her to learn that she does things for her own goals, her own reward, and not just to avoid any kind of punishment or to get some kind of reward from me. And it also keeps me from being in that enforcer position. I want my kid to have like a trusted guide relationship with me. Like, oh, I bring things to you and you help me, guide me, and I trust you to give you advice. And if I'm the enforcer of rules and the punisher, like that breaks that and keeps her from being honest. So she basically never lies. She has no reason to lie because there's no punishment. So she's, essentially never lied. I lied all the time because it would avoid, punishment.
Exactly.
So that taught me to lie, basically.
Yep. Well, I think it's like, I don't want my kids to appease me. I don't want my kids to people please me. I want them to be able to sit down and be like, hey, here's why I'm doing. I want them to like know why they're doing something and communicate it is what I want to do. And then make that part of the relationship. Because like, even if like, if one of my kids, like my middle child is like, zones out a lot, like we'll be like, hey, go get dressed. And we walk in and she's like sitting there staring in the mirror and we're like, hey, you're supposed to be getting dressed right now. And then like, if she does that a couple of days in a row, then I'm like, hey, just so you know, if you need time to zone out, I've just got to wake you up earlier. So whenever I start waking you up 15 minutes earlier, it's because if this is how you get ready, we just need to build in more time and not to be like, how dare you not be ready yet? How dare you do this? It's like, oh, this is who you naturally are. Let's let you know how to work within who you naturally are instead of making you feel like crap that you might be a kid who takes you 5 minutes to put on pants because you got distracted by a toy, because you got distracted by that. So like, just know this is what I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Making plans outside of the moment.
Yes.
We do that a lot. Like, so that we have some conflict and then we'll revisit later and say, okay, so how did this happen? Like, where do you think with this went? What could we do? And we problem solve together. We give ideas. We come up with a plan. And she's very creative. She'll come up with all kinds of stuff. It was before I had this interview, she actually already had the idea when we were talking about how do we get you to clean up your toys downstairs? You can leave toys out upstairs, but like downstairs, living room, you got to clean up your toys before bed. How do we do that? Not at bedtime, not a time to clean up the toys. We revisit this daily challenge of like, what do we need to do here? And she said, like, I really like playing Daddy Throw You on the Bed at night, which is a game where I throw her on the bed. Yes. Over and over again.
Yep.
And so she's like, how about you asked me to clean up my toys before we play that game. Like, I know I have that game. So she's like, it's easy if I have something to look forward to. Like, she already knew this psychology about herself. So that's awesome. She taught me this thing that this whatever board certified behavior analyst came on to teach me. She just figured out like, if I have something to look forward to, I'll do it.
I'm good.
And so, so she came up with that idea. And there's lots of ideas like that. She told us we needed to hide the treats. She said she can't not eat treats if she can see them. So
Yep.
she's like,
Yep.
you just need to hide them from me. Like
Object permanence, man. Use
yeah,
it.
just like I'm not gonna be. If I see it, I'm just not gonna be able to not eat it. And I know it's not good for me. So you should just opt into that stuff. And so now hiding the treats, it's not a battle. It's like you told me
Yeah.
that. We had this like I'm helping you out with I'm enforcing your rules for yourself, and like that's so much better. And implementing a plan we made together, even if it doesn't work, just the process of problem solving planning together, I think is really valuable.
Yep. And I think like I like making things a conversation with my kids. And not like I don't need their buy-in or anything like that, but it is a relationship. It is like, hey, we both want something out of this moment. We're both working towards something. You want to be able to play. I don't want you to trip over your toys and die while you're playing. So this makes sure that we can do that together.
It's a little dramatic, but yes.
What if you never, how's your catastrophizing,
Oh yeah. No, my wife is the catastrophizer. So I'm like, trip over your toy and break the toy, and then I have to glue it.
Yeah.
I'm like very practical. I don't want to have to glue your toy that you broke.
Right. That's
If
fair.
you hurt yourself, I get to hold you while you cry. That's nice.
Aw. Yeah, that's right. But no,
Yeah.
I think that's cool. Or I would like to think more parents are aware of the fact of like, I don't want to manipulate my kids. Like I don't want to. And like, it's really easy to, because you have all the power. So give up some of that power. And I think it creates a healthier relationship.
Yeah. And ultimately easier because in the long run, in the short run, it's like, oh, I can trick them into doing this thing and they'll do it. But then if I'm in charge of controlling their behavior, now I'm always in charge of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I teach them some independence early, it saves me energy in the long run.
It does. Yep.
And so that's just pure self-motivation is like, I know this is going to be easier later, but let alone being motivated by my kid growing and being healthy. And that's another big motivation. It's like, okay, well, maybe it's harder for me in this moment, but like, it's good for my kid. And, that is important to me that I raise them right and set them up.
Yep. Well, I think like one of the most fascinating things I think about our generation of parents is we are much more aware of like the nervous system and self-regulation. And like it is much more like, hey, how you're kind of losing it. Everything seems very overwhelming. How can we teach you how to calm yourself down, how to regain control? Because in this moment, you feel like you don't have control, but actually there is probably some way for you to feel like you're in control. So how do we do that as opposed to like, I don't know, I've talked to some dads where their parents would be like, hey, go back to your room until you're able to smile and come back out. And I'm like, that's not self-regulation. That is shame and guilt, and you're not part of the family. And that is, that's bad. That's real bad.
I remember learning emotional repression at 5, so I could go back to the dinner table because they're like, come back when you're happy.
Yep. And it's like, that's not how this works.
Us, like our generation, being good at much more welcoming of feelings and understanding feelings and naming feelings and allowing for feelings. I think it also helps with the behavior stuff. They're more regulated, so they act out less. But also, like, if I look at what my parents did, so much of what they did was to avoid a feeling. They would give me the thing I want.
Yep.
Because they were afraid I'd cry, or like if I cried, they'd get mad and they'd punish me for crying. And it's like, just like, let me cry.
Yeah.
And then it's all done.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the thing, I cry, it's sad, I don't have my thing. And then it's over, but like, so with my daughter, but my mom has the hardest time with that still of like, you gave her what? She's like, yeah, well, she was going to cry. I'm like, let her cry.
Let her cry. Yep.
It's like, she still has a really hard time with this idea of like, oh, I can just let her be sad. Like, that's okay. Like, yep,
pretty much.
It's normal.
Well, it's also, I think, a sign of like, I mean, our parents were raised by like World War II vets or people who lived through the Great Depression. We're like scared, like it just wasn't allowed. Like it is genuinely like, I mean, their parents never allowed them to have an emotion. So then that naturally trickled down, and even them, like it was probably growth, how they raised us. And that's crazy to think of like, oh, wow, that's growth? Because that still feels like repression to a lot of people that I know.
No, I met my grandparents. I mean, my parents were better than them for sure. And I mean, they didn't hit me with belts and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, like that's what their parents did.
Really though.
So it's like, and their parents before them. And, my daughter always asks like, when did people start? We talk a lot about emotions and how not everybody gets to have their feelings and how I didn't. And and she's like, why would we do that? We figured out it goes back to kings and queens is what we determined.
Really?
And we determined it goes back to trying to control people.
Yeah,
if you want to control people, you have to control their emotions. Because if you want them to do stuff for you that, be soldiers and kill people, they can't feel that. Or if you want them to live under your rule and be miserable, like they can't feel that either. So you have to like tell people their feelings don't matter and they're wrong. And you just need to obey and do what I say. And that's the right thing. Feelings are not right. So that's what we determined and went back to.
That makes sense. If you can get someone to, this talk about control a lot in this. If you can get someone to disassociate from their body and their feelings, then
Yeah.
it's a fascinating level of control that you have over them. And
Yep.
that terrifies me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's human. Get something to want something, or I guess do something to avoid something is the
Yep.
other flip side of that. Yeah.
Yep.
But as soon as they're not looking, they're going to do it. So,
Pretty much.
so even repressive governments have trouble controlling people with the threat of execution.
Yeah.
There's still revolutions and uprisings. So,
There are.
like you can't control humans. Like
Yeah.
we want freedom. Fundamentally, we'll do whatever we have to get
Correct.
it. And so will
Yes.
kids.
Yep. Did you do, if I can ask, did you do any therapy or any counseling or anything like that to help you become more comfortable with your emotions and your journey with understanding hey, I might be emotional and that's actually a beautiful thing and not something I should be ashamed of?
Yeah. I've done a little, like maybe 6 or 7,000 hours,
So a couple, well, a little.
probably 2 hours, 3 hours a week to
Yeah.
this day, like
Yeah.
a lot of therapy.
Cool.
So much stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot coaching, therapy,
Yeah.
I'm autistic. So I had a particularly challenging childhood. I wasn't diagnosed as a kid. And so
Yeah.
my feelings were bigger. My
Yeah.
reactions were bigger. Every energy was huge. And so that was just in a school system and a parenting model that said you're not allowed to have big feelings or make messes or,
Yeah.
stand out or break the rules. Like that was, I was incapable of all that. So I was just repress all of that. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of trauma from that. So I was already on a long healing and journey, which is what led us to the healthy baby food and
Yeah.
entrepreneurialism and starting youth programs and working with kids. And then
Yeah.
eventually my dedicated platform all led to, because I had a difficult childhood and really wanting to make it better for other kids. But a huge part of that is day to day. And nothing has forced me to heal more than having a kid.
Yeah.
Parenting is the number one spiritual growth practice, in my opinion. It's the biggest opportunity to see my flaws, see my shadows mirrored back at me, see all my childhood wounds just dumped out on the table in front of me all the time, have all my buttons pushed, and marriage. I mean, marriage
Oh, yeah,
too.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so marriage, that was the first one, and then marriage with a kid, you've just got this double entendre of,
Yeah.
double, that's not the right word, double onslaught
Yeah.
of triggers all the time. And I'm an optimizer, so I want to have the absolute best marriage. I want to be the absolute best
Yeah.
dad. I want to have to run the best business. I want to be the best person. So healing and coaching are both parts of that. A coach that helps push me harder and actually doing the podcast and have interviews pushes me to be better and better. If I'm going to be a spokesperson, I better walk the walk, So I have guests on to teach me how to be a better dad. And then really love somatic therapy right now is my big jam. So getting in the body, really learning to feel the body sensations of triggers of emotions where my trauma is stored in my body. It's actually led to a lot of pain reduction in my body too. My neck and back pain
Fascinating.
is
Yeah.
less. I've almost reduced my migraines are almost gone. Mostly because I'm not carrying all that tension and emotion in my body anymore. I've done some psychedelic therapy, which is really powerful. It really, really helps do some healing. And then we have a relationship coach that is state of the art relationship coach we've met with for 10 years now. And we see him every week and he's critical for my wife's relationship, but he finds a lot of stuff in myself as well that helps with my parenting.
Yeah. That is, I am so happy that you're leaning into it. That an area of your life that has caused a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, a lot of you probably questioning who the hell am I? That you are doing the work to be all right, man, I know I'm good. I know there's goodness in here, regardless of what a school system told me, regardless of how I felt as a kid. There's good here. So let's uncover it. Let's find the good. And I think being aware of how tense your body gets whenever you encounter things is really hard to be in tune with. And I think also I find it fascinating as a man because, working out, being a bodybuilder, all this stuff is so masculine, but then it's but how does your body feel? And it's I don't know. I'm just here to abuse it. And I'm no, that's not be in tune with your body also.
What can my body do is the question rather than how does it feel? And that's how I've lived my life. What can I do? How much can I accomplish?
Yep.
And I try to enjoy it. And I'm what is that enjoying?
Yeah.
Why am I not enjoying this? Because enjoying is a feeling.
Correct. Yes.
I have to feel to enjoy, which means I have to feel all these other feelings. And so that's one of the biggest jumps on my path forward was when I realized I had created the life that I always dreamed of and I wasn't enjoying it. I was I won the war and I still want to fight,
Yep.
there's nothing to fight. And so, so it's been huge, a lot of inner child work. So, there's a 12-step program called Adult Children of Alcoholics, which works for any adult children of dysfunction. They don't have to be from alcoholics. And like, it's all about inner child work. So I have an episode on reparenting my inner child while I'm raising my current child. And now my daughter's picked up on it. One of her favorite games is I'm little Joey at 9, which was I asked her the other day, why am I always 9? She's because you told me that was like your hardest year as a kid. I'm like, oh,
Okay.
She remembered that.
Yes.
So I'm 9, which was like a hardest year, 3rd grade. It was awful. And she comes back from the future to get me because her dad sent her to get me so that he could raise me. He's taking me back into the future. So I'm going to be her brother, basically. Raised by myself, my future self is going to raise me to prevent me from having the pain that I had. And this is like, we play this game all the time, but it's very metaphorical for what's actually happening. Like I am through parenting, learning how to parent my inner child. And now I'm sort of re-raising him at the same time as I'm raising my daughter. And now they play together, basically. Like I access him to play with her, to engage with her. Yeah. And she loves him in the way that he didn't get loved as a kid. And it's really, really powerful.
Are you familiar with like IFS or like inter-family system therapy?
I've heard of that. I haven't ever done it.
Okay. It's basic. I'm not a therapist, but it's similar to that of like, basically you revisit like younger versions of yourself and then talk to them. Be like, here you are as an adult with a fully formed brain, knowing what you know now. If 9-year-old you was really hurt by your existence, can you talk to that 9-year-old you? Because like, I think the belief is that like whenever you encounter something, your nervous system goes back to that version of yourself.
Yeah.
So whenever you get reprimanded, when something happens, you go back to 9-year-old version Joe, and then you're like, oh God, I don't know how to proceed. And you're like, actually, dude, you're not 9 anymore. Like you're actually a grown adult now. So how do you communicate with that version of yourself? Basically, what you just said is like, how do you talk to that version of yourself and be like, hey man, actually, you're safe, you're loved, you're beautiful, and like you got this. But you also know that part of you doesn't believe that.
Yeah, it's okay to have your feelings. I mean, I talk to him all the time, just like I talk to my daughter. I just use the same tools that I use for my daughter's feelings awareness to talk to him. And then ACA has a lot of that, writing letters to them back and forth. And then in psychedelic therapy, I've hung out with him, and done different things. So I've done bits and pieces of that through different ways. I'm also really involved with the Mankind Project, which is a men's community of men that are teaching man values and recreating manhood initiation.
Okay.
And we do a lot of the family systems work in that. So a lot of talking to a teenager, talking to the inner child, to different archetypes like the warrior, the magician, king, lover, and how we work with those parts of ourselves. And so that works really cool too.
Yeah. Have you explored like, I know you have a daughter, but have you explored like male initiation rites or anything like that?
Yeah. So Mankind Project, we do it. We initiate men into men, so we've lost initiation in our culture, and it's a really huge gap. So we have a society run by boys. They say we don't have patriarchy, we have poorarchy, which is rule by boys, and boy values is like competition and control
all
and
ego.
consumerism.
All ego.
Ego and pleasure seeking and all these boy values versus man values, which is like integrity, honesty, purpose, vulnerability, mission, power. Like these are man values. And so Mankind Project seeks to essentially initiate what are essentially adult boys into men and then teach these man values. And then we have these circles. We have this 3-day initiation weekend that mimics traditional initiation practices, but with a lot of modern psychology, a lot of Jungian psychology. And we already have all these wounds. So traditional initiation was like, there was like a scarring or like a physical wounding that would happen.
There was.
So we don't do that because we already have those. So we just access them. So we just like bring men down into the depths of the pain they already have and really face that in a really strong container and then come out of it stronger and lighter and then replace that with these man values that we teach in these weekly circles that we can be a part of forever. And, and it's really, really, really transformational work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I haven't I have read books on it. I'm familiar with the whole concept and everything. Because if I think male initiation now is like, did you graduate high school? Did you go to college? Or like, did you have a kid? And like, those are markers of growth and potentially growing in some way. But like, you do actually need a guide. You do need a community. You do need to acknowledge what's wounded inside of you, which yes, in the past, it was a physical wound. It was literally like, hey, we're going to go in the desert. You're going to do a vision quest. You're going to be physically harmed in some way. and then go out into the wild. And like, I'm glad you guys are already like, we're already wounded.
Yeah.
we're already hurting. So let's not create more wounds to fix. Let's deal with the
Yep.
wounds we already got is pretty freaking awesome.
Because otherwise fatherhood is the probably most popular initiation. But initiation was always done by men. The men
Elders.
of the tribe would bring the boys and initiate them, and they'd come back and join a community of men.
Correct.
So it's always done in the community. And so that's the biggest. Fatherhood can be a really powerful initiation, but the problem is it's isolated. We're with a woman, like it's like us and a woman, which is women cannot initiate men.
Yep.
Like they were not allowed to come to the initiation. It was a secret. They didn't even know what happened there. And so, we're now trying to basically learn parenting, learn our new selves with or from our female partner.
Yeah.
Which is just not natural at all. And sort of being surrounded by other men and other dads is absolutely critical and yet so hard to do. I mean, you had to start a podcast to meet
to create male friends,
dads.
yes, but I mean, you did too. So I mean,
yeah, right, yeah. So I mean, that's like when a friend of mine says they're pregnant, I'm like, meet other dads, meet other dads.
Yep.
Like start a dad community ASAP, like absolutely critical. And these platforms serve as a surrogate for that a little bit. It's something to get wisdom from other dads. It's not the same as men in your life, but
correct.
I think that's one of the reasons we do this is to help guide other dads through this process. But it is initiation. It is like, it's a completely transformational. It's not just, I'm myself and I have a kid now. I think a lot of men think that like, I'm just going to incorporate this kid like I'd incorporate a new job or a new hobby or a new girlfriend or whatever. It's not like that. It like changes you. If you don't let it change you, if you fight that change, you're going to suffer and you won't enjoy or get the benefits of dadhood as much. And I think that's why men leave. One of the reasons biggest men leave is they won't let it change them. They see it changing them and they freak out. And they're like, I got to get out of here.
Because they think they have to do it on their own or because they're going through such a drastic change. Because to me, fatherhood completely destroys your identity, like in all the beautiful ways. It shatters what you think you're supposed, like it shatters and makes you reprioritize, or it should. And then if you add on top of that, I mean, like to me, like, my wife, she was pregnant 3 times, nursed all 3 kids, like her body's already doing a million things while she's dealing with her own identity. Like, who am I and all of this? And then for her to be like, can you figure me out too, to your wife is going to be like, no, go find some friends. Like, I'm already in this, like, I want to go through this journey together, but I don't want to be responsible for your journey. That's an awful responsibility to put that on your wife.
She needs a man more than just ever in her life,
or someone to help her.
Children.
Yeah.
Like, and so boys, and so it needs a man. I say a woman needs a man, but like,
they don't need a boy.
She wants a man. She doesn't want a boy and she doesn't need another child.
Correct.
Like, so that was like probably the first thing I discovered when she got pregnant was all the ways that I thought of her as a mom figure. Despite all the work I'd done and all the enlightenment and all that, there were still ways that I depended on her as a mom figure. And now she has an actual child. She's growing inside her and then eventually outside of her. And like, she wasn't going to do that for me. And that there was like a betrayal there. It was an initial betrayal. Like I've lost my wife, my partner. Well, no, I didn't lose her. She's still there. I just lost the momming side of her. And now I have to parent myself and show up as a man. And like ultimately a great husband, great dad is just a great man. They're the same thing.
Correct.
All those values, man values, honesty, integrity, mission, purpose, service, power, those are all things. That's what is a good husband. That's what is a good dad. And why we struggle is because men aren't taught those. We don't have a community of men teaching those. Correct. And then if we act like boys and women and other people keep treating us like boys, then it's even worse.
Yep.
So societally, we keep treating men like boys. We try to guilt trip them into being better dads. We try to criticize them.
Yeah.
Like you would a child.
Yeah.
And, you talk bad about them, try to manipulate them. And like none of that works. Like you got to treat dads like men and if you want to be a great dad, be a great man.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I personally believe like you already have it in you. Like I believe everyone as a kid has the ability to be the dad they want to be. But they do need to be looked at and be like, hey, you can do this. But if then they're like, okay, I'm going to go figure this out on my own. I'm like, no, not like that. Because then you're going to repeat patterns you don't know you were doing. And then like, because like, I think that's why, in my opinion, that's why women are so annoyed with men in that scenario. Because it's like, no, I'm already raising a child. You're a grown ass man. I don't need to raise you too. So like, go do the therapy, go do the work, go figure out how to parent yourself.
And they can't teach you how to do it. It's like, I want you to do this. Well, how do I do it? I don't know.
Why would I know how to do that? Why would I know how to? I'm a what? Like, it's just different. So
yeah, right. And they're like, well, then where do I learn? Like, well, not from me. So that's the first step is you got to go find other men. You got to find your own thing, and that's like part of that rite of passage. Like you're in the wilderness with no food or water. You better figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you can figure out how to get yourself right and independent, then you can be a great dad and a great husband.
Yep.
But a lot of men do the opposite. They think I'm just trying to please, try to make her happy, self-sacrifice constantly. How much can I serve through sacrifice? And then they just get more and more resentful and they just get more and more empty. And then they get entitled, like, well, I've done all this service. I'm working hard. I deserve to go and, whatever, cheat or spend money or like sit on the couch while my wife does the dishes, like they get in this self-sacrifice service entanglement that of course is a super turn off for women and degrades that relationship. Women hate entitlement. They love service, hate entitlement, and they don't want us to be resentful. No. And so learning how to serve and to show up fully, but also like set boundaries and take care of myself. Like it's a real art. It's a daily art.
Changes daily. And I think that's the thing that like I always want to emphasize to men, or like if someone has a newborn, I'm going to always be like, hey, it's going to be a lot. And some days you'll be like, okay, I'm going to take it one day at a time. And then you'll be like, okay, I'm going to take it 4 hours at a time. Okay, I'm going to take it an hour at a time. I'm going to take it 10 minutes at a time, because you actually don't like, I think it's so important to, I think the most therapy speak for would be, you have to know what your integrity is and live within your integrity. And whenever you aren't within your integrity is whenever I think resentment, anger, and all this stuff happens. So how can you, in the face of chaos, in the face of not knowing what every single day will hold to it, how do you know your integrity and live within it so you can actually be the version of yourself that's healthy for your kid and your wife?
Yeah, what feels right rather than what feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sometimes they're diametrically opposed. The right thing sucks.
Yeah.
It's often that way, actually.
Yeah.
And it feels better after. So you're in integrity because then the reward comes from doing the hard ass thing that felt right. And then you're like, oh, that was right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah.
Or you also learn when not doing it. Like, I don't think I should do that. I'm going to do it.
Yep.
Nope. I knew that.
Yep, that was the wrong call. Yep.
Yeah. So that you can learn that way. But yeah, I learned that in high school. I learned that doing the right thing was always going to be better than doing the pleasurable thing.
Yeah.
It's part of my 16-year-old spiritual awakening. And so I've been seeking fulfillment over pleasure.
Yeah.
And I think that set me up well to be a dad, because there are some incredibly pleasurable moments, but it's a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
And feeling, but righteous struggle is a man. Men, we have righteously struggled for years, going to war and working hard long days and sweating and using our bodies and building shit and standing in front of a bullet for our family. Like that's a man thing to do. And no man's ever regretted, pushing themselves to their limits to fulfill what they feel is their calling. They do it out of resentment. They do it because they feel pressured. They do it because they think it's the only way to be loved. Like that doesn't feel good. Like, learning to, listen to that gut, listen to that like the inner rightness. Or some people call it God, like it's kind of the voice of God. It's sort of like, what does God want for me? What does the universe want for me, moment to moment? If I'd ask God, like, should I play now or should I have her do the chairs and the hairbrush first? I knew that already. I didn't even have to ask God. I already knew, and as soon as I said we're gonna do it the other way, there was that little. You sure?
Like, no,
okay.
You don't. It's not what you want to do.
Yeah. So it's just like, moment to moment, it's useful. Or in like very big decisions around our relationship or our jobs or our finances, that's where it's really important to be like super integrity, even if it's hard.
Yep. But it takes a ton of work. I think it takes a ton of work, and it does take I think there are daily moments in which you just get reminded of what your integrity is. And hopefully we all have the mental space to listen to it, because it is very easy, like, especially as a man. Yeah, I always want to complete stuff. I always want to get stuff done. I always want to be able to look back at my day and say, here's my checklist of things. That's always going to be ingrained in me. And to be like, but like, why? Why did you want to do any of this stuff? How were your kids whenever you did that stuff? Were you kind to anyone while you did that stuff? It's like, oh, those are the questions I need to ask. Not, did I do this? It's, how were you when you did this? What did you teach because like, I love going to the grocery store with my kids because I do think my body language, how I treat people, like I'm tall. So like I'll often like help people get stuff off top shelves and stuff like that. If I am too busy to do the small acts of kindness, my kids notice that and they pay attention to that. And
Mm-hmm.
even if I'm not aware that I'm teaching them that, I am teaching them that me getting stuff done is more important than helping the community I'm a part of. And that's not a lesson I want to teach my kids.
Yeah. Yeah, but men are really focused on what? What do
Mhm.
I do? Give me the list. Give me the formula. Let me check off the list. Let me just knock it
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
And, that is we're trained that way in work
Yeah.
and, productivity. Like, let me just check it off. And this is what we think of this as service. We think we're serving if we check off the list, and then somebody should be grateful for us for checking off the list. And our wives and our kids, there's a lot of work to do, and we have to do the things. It's not like the what isn't important, but they
Yeah.
really, really want the how. They really want the presence of
Mhm.
us. How do you be a great dad? Well, you just you be present. And then what will come if you show up first and say what is needed of me, then they will tell you what they want. But if you try to just come up with the list and check it off and hand it to them, say, I'm done. And they're like, but
Yeah.
I didn't even want any of these things. And
Yep.
especially if you're too tired to put attention on me, like
Yeah.
forget it, burn that shit
Wasn't
to the
worth it.
ground. I just
Yep.
want your attention.
Yeah.
And so like that's where it's the most hardest thing to learn is like I've
Yeah.
had to learn how to be present, how to show up, how to just be there, how to put my attention out. And if I'm super tired because I've worked a bunch or I've self-sacrificed, and I don't have any attention left, then it's really hard. And then they want more of my attention. I'm mad at them for that.
Yeah.
And so it's being the presence is like a really key thing to learn.
Yep. I I should tell more dads whenever they have a newborn, if they walk into a room, just ask their wife, what's the most helpful thing I can do? As opposed to assuming you know the most helpful thing you can do. And even as your kids get older, but I remember that being moments of like whenever I worked and my wife would be home with one of her kids or both of her kids, I would come home and be like, oh, this is how I'm going to be most helpful since you've been with the kids for like a long stretch of time. And she'd be like, no, I don't want any of that. And I'm like, oh, so if I just walked in and said, hey, I just got home, what's the most helpful thing I can do? Would have been better? Yeah, it absolutely would have been better. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you also have to walk into every room knowing you can figure out how to make things better, but not assuming you know the exact way to make things better is a very delicate balance.
Yeah,
also.
it's a fine line for sure.
Yeah.
My wife would hate if I asked her what to do. She'd want me to notice,
Really? Well, it's not that. It's more to be like, hey, I'm getting home. Where you're at mentally. I want
Right.
to be helpful.
How can I serve you today? Yeah.
What's the best way that, like, here's what I thought would be helpful. Is this going to be helpful? It's like the very direct, like, hey, it seems like you guys can be hungry. Do you care if I go and start dinner or do you want me to do something else first? It's
Yeah.
more like
That
how
makes
I
sense.
communicate it.
Yeah, there's a kind of a baseline that a lot of men don't have yet, which I love the fair play system of household management to help teach men all the different tasks so that women aren't
Yes.
in a position of teaching us how to do the
Yes.
household, which sucks because they were taught and we weren't. So somebody's
Mhm.
got to teach us.
Yep.
They don't want to teach us. They don't know how to teach us. They don't even remember being taught. It was taught
this is
so
ingrained.
young.
Yep.
And we were just not taught. And so it's like we don't even care as much about it. We weren't even taught to care, let alone to notice.
Right. Yeah.
And so like the fair play is the system to teach us that. So this is like, okay, this is the external resource that teaches men what it takes to run a household and what all the tasks are. And you mutually agree with your partner on the minimum standard of
Yes.
each task. So I think, yes, once you have that, like I know I'm holding my tasks and I know how to do every task.
Yeah.
On top of that is what do you need for you? Like what can I do for you today? And you could ask your kids this too. What would you like to do? And, then I think that makes sense. Like you're putting attention out in addition to, rather than attention on the house and fixing things without any attention on them.
Yeah.
And then they're mad at you for no attention. You're like, I just did all the things.
I did all this stuff so you'd be more mentally available for me. And it's like, well, not how it works. So
Nope.
yeah.
Mhm.
And like, I think my hope with that question is always like, okay, mentally, where are you? And my wife will do that for me. I was like, okay, mentally, where are you? Do you need to like during the summer, whenever it's me and 3 kids, she's like, okay, did you get a walk in yet? Do you need to get away for like 30 minutes? Do you want to go do a grocery store trip by yourself? So it's just like, to me, it's more like a check-in of like, mentally, where are you? Are you like good? Are you on your last leg? Like, which one are you? And like, okay, cool. Well, yeah, you know what? Actually, can you go unload the dishwasher? Because I know I need to do that. And I honestly, I don't want to because I've done other stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll go do that real quick. If that makes you feel like we're in this together, because that's what I'm trying to communicate. It's like, hey, we're in this together. You just carried a load. Let's carry this load together. How do I make sure I'm communicating that correctly? It's like the almost overly direct. It's either that or I assume I know what makes things better. And for some reason that doesn't turn out well. Just doesn't, me assuming I know
Well,
what
and
my
then you
wife
can do it
wants.
joyfully when they ask you and then you do it and you notice what they wanted. Like
Yeah.
that's service. That's the joy of service, like
Yeah.
knowing that I contributed to somebody. And you can do that from a joyful place and it's more fun to do. And the result is better because they're actually happy.
Yeah.
Versus doing things from resentful places that maybe they feel your resentment and now they're resentful at you for being
Correct,
resentful.
Yeah.
Or they didn't even want you to do it. And now it's like,
Mhm.
of course they're not appreciative because it just wasn't the
didn't
thing
want
they
it.
wanted in that moment.
Yep.
And so I would spend so much of my time pleasing and then being mad that they're not
Yeah.
pleased.
Yeah.
And, and then it's this vicious cycle.
Mhm.
And so like I discovered, I just did a episode on appreciation and how much men always complain about not being appreciated for all the work they do. And I discovered, if I need appreciation, it's because I was self-sacrificing. I wasn't doing it for the right reasons.
Correct,
Like
yes.
if I did something and they don't appreciate me and I'm mad, they're not appreciating me, then that means I didn't really want to do that thing.
You didn't.
And
Yep.
it wasn't the right thing to do. It wasn't integrity for me to do it with myself or with them. And, and if it is like would you please do this for me? Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing. I don't need her to say thank you. I don't need to appreciate.
Yeah.
But like, I know that I fulfilled her and that is satisfying enough.
Yeah.
And so that's like a little hack I discovered.
Yeah. Well, because if not, then I'm doing it because I want their approval of some sort, or I'm doing it to please them.
Yeah,
And like
which they hate.
also, I mean, well, yeah, of course. Like also, like if right now, if I was like, if you're doing stuff because I thought you wanted my approval or you wanted to please me, I'd be like, I don't like this. Like if you're here to make me feel happy, then that is an awful relationship that I want no part of. And then I have to figure out how to communicate that to you.
Yeah, well, it's needy.
Like,
it comes off
it's
as needy.
It's like and
now
it's like,
I'm
I don't want
paying
this.
for the task. It wasn't free.
Correct. Yes.
Like now I owe you this approval, this thing.
Yeah.
And so like that becomes transactional and that's
Yeah.
a turnoff. Like it's not how
I'm good. Yeah. And like in any relationship, if I think someone wants something of me but isn't willing to be like, because I also think it's okay to be like, hey, when I did this thing, I want more. I'm for some reason today I feel a need for your approval on how I did this. Like, oh, cool, let's talk about that. Like, where are you at mentally? How is our connection bad today? Because if I need more approval from someone, it's because I don't feel connected to them, right? And I'm assuming getting their approval will lead to connection and intimacy in some way. So like, am I able to step aside and admit that and then say that is not something I'm going to act like I know how to do, but I know that's in me some days. It's like, oh, I want your approval because I assume that leads to connection and I want to feel connected
I see that.
to you.
So I wanted connection. So I found a task that I think you would want me to do. I do it because I think that'll earn your love.
Yeah.
And then I display it for you.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
What the hell are you doing?
And I'm like, I need your approval, appreciation. That's the path to connection, right? Like I did this thing so you would approve of me so that I would be connected to you.
Yeah.
And now it's the opposite. Now they're not approving because they didn't actually want it or it wasn't done right or
they don't like that version of you. Also.
Or they just didn't want me to do it for their approval. Like that it's just ugly. It's just like, it's just a turnoff for them.
Correct.
Just very boyish. Look, mommy, look what I did.
Yeah. It's
look at my drawing I made for you.
Yeah.
Oh, great, sweetie.
You're
I love
38.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no, they don't want that. They want, they like wanted me to be in my power. So I think she's probably more turned on by me telling her no to something.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Than by doing a thing that is not right for me to do in that moment.
Yep. But I think it's important to know because with like self-sacrifice stuff like that, I think ultimately it's just trying to figure out like, what am I trying to get at here? And being honest with yourself. It's like, why am I self-sacrificing? Because I want to love my family and I assume this will communicate love to my family. Okay, cool. Your family doesn't want that right now. Okay, but I need them to know, I need to feel loved by them. And it's like, okay, there's other ways to do that. And I think whenever you assume self-sacrifice, people pleasing or something like that is the only way to connection, it's like, no, there's actually a lot of depth here. So take a step back, admit what need you think needs to be met in this moment, and then figure out how to get to there besides the needy, lonely, gross version of yourself that you don't even want to be, but you are being for some reason, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's already there. So just like trying to open my system to feel the love and appreciation that they all already have.
It's already
for
there.
me.
It's already there. Yep.
It's right there for the taking of I just let myself have it.
Correct.
But that's a presence thing. That's not a doing. What do I do to feel their appreciation? Well, you don't do anything. You just open your system.
Yep.
Think about it. You think about their smiles. You feel them. Like it's just it's presence, and that's so hard for really when we get stuck on, I don't know what to do, it's probably because we don't know how to be.
Correct. Yep. And it's real difficult, man. if you give me 15 minutes, or like if right now, if you were 15 minutes late to a call or something like that, I'd be like, okay, I'll go finish up laundry. I'll go do this. I'll go wipe this down real quick. As opposed to like, you can also just sit here for like 10 minutes and like, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I schedule it in. I have three
Yeah, that's smart.
20-minute, I call it stillness.
Yeah.
I find little 20-minute spots and I put my phone away and just sit there.
And just exist.
Like, what do you do in your presence? I don't do anything. That's the point.
Yeah.
I put my phone away so I can't do anything.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think and feel and whatever else comes up.
Yep. I like water metaphors a lot. So like for meditation for me, like it's like, okay, man, you're in an inner tube going down the river and you're just laying in the water, enjoying everything. And like if there's an intrusive thought or something my mind keeps going to, be like, cool, that's on the raft next to you. On the raft next to you is the thing you think you're supposed to do right now. Let it float on down the river. See where it goes. And like just to let things just flow, But it took me a while to realize like, hey, that's it. Just like as opposed to feeling a feeling, thinking a thought, and thinking of the next action step for that. Just be like, hey, okay, cool. You feel a need to get stuff done. Why do you feel a need to get stuff done today? Why? Like, what's going on with you? And which, like, that's where you think you're the most helpful and most worthy of love based on the task list you accomplished today.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, hey, I will start wrapping up because we're at the 45-minute mark.
All right. You got lightning rounds.
They're quick. You can take time to answer them. Okay. It's not like, so first question is, also, by the way, I love like doing this where sometimes I'm like, oh, I should ask him about his business. I should ask him about this. And it's like, actually, no, whatever conversation you get lost in is the conversation you're meant to have today.
Yeah.
That's all good. But sometimes if I talk to like musicians and stuff, I'm like, I should have talked about his album more. And it's like, then it would have come up. Then you would have talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, first question is, did you have any backup names for your kid? Like, did you have anything that you almost named her?
Well, I thought you were going to say nicknames. I have like 50 nicknames.
Yeah, no, backup names. So what did you almost name her? Yeah.
Well, when I was 5, I drew pictures of my future kids, and they were Brittany and Jason.
Okay.
So for most of my life, I assumed I was going to have Brittany and Jason. So Brittany was sort of the original name for her from when I was 5. Although it was we didn't ever really consider that as a name. My name's Joe. My wife's name is Serenity. So I always wanted a cool name because Joe was so boring. Everybody's literally like the average Joe.
Yeah.
She wanted a normal name that was easy to spell because you'd think Serenity be easy, but people said, get it wrong.
Nope.
Yeah, Serenity Hegel, actually. So she had like double name that was like really hard to say.
Yeah.
So she wanted a very simple name. So I wanted a cool name. She wanted a simple name. Della was her great grandma's name and kind of an older name. She liked that grandma. I don't think it was her actual grandma. I don't think it was her great grandma. No, it was her great grandma. Yeah. And so she was kind of famous in the town she was from and stuff. So I don't think that we really had another major contender.
Okay.
We argued over the boy, if it was a boy's name. That was where we really argued. I wanted Oberon.
Ooh.
So
wait, what's Oberon from?
He's the king of the fairies.
Okay.
In A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Which predates Shakespeare, like it's a ancient fairy king name. Oberon, I call him Obi for short, or Obi-Wan, which would be fun. But apparently there's a beer named Oberon. Nobody's ever heard of this beer except my damn wife, and she loved this beer, and she just could not name her kid after a beer. I'm like, it's the king of the fairies.
That's why the beer is named after the king of the fairies.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, but we never agreed on a boy name. So good thing we had a girl.
Yeah. I do think boy names are a little bit different because I feel like you either go real quirky or real traditional. Like there's not a lot of middle ground for it. So yeah. Next question. Who's your favorite TV or movie dad? You can say Oberon.
Yeah, he's a king. I don't know if they have kids or not.
Yeah.
I'm really liking Steve Carell and the show that just came out where he's the college professor. Rooster.
Yeah.
I'm really liking him as a dad.
Okay. I haven't watched it. That's a Bill Lawrence show, right? Like he did like Scrubs and Ted Lasso. I think it might be with that same.
Sounds right.
Shrinking.
I don't pay attention to that, but it's a very fresh because it's like you've been watching it recently. But like, I think he's a really nice dad in that he's very supportive. He's quirky. He's laughs at himself. His daughter is they're very nice. She's grown now, so it's interesting. Like a grown daughter dad relationships. Like, this is the relationship I'd want to have. Like she's very honest with him. She leans on him. She can laugh at him or critique him and he'll take it.
Yeah.
And they have honest conversations about their shadows, their shortcomings.
That's cool.
And I think it's nice.
Yeah. Do also want to say that I love Carl Jung and shadow work. I know you've like mentioned it or interwoven it a little bit, but I
Yes,
think
huge
all
part of
that's,
Mankind Project.
it's so
Yeah,
cool.
Gold
It's one of my favorite
Shadow,
things.
like, yes, do a lot of that. And
Yeah.
Mankind Project really has a lot of Jungian psychology built into
Yeah.
it. So it's so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I think
Yeah.
like growing up like in church systems, it was always like, you need to conquer your shadow. And it's like, I feel like Jung is more like, well, what is your shadow? Like, what is it? And like, let's figure that out first. And then like, what's your relationship with your shadow? Because it's always going to be there. Is like, once I had read a book or like talked to someone about it, I was like, oh, this is a much kinder way to treat myself as opposed to figuring out how do I conquer the things I don't like about myself.
Yeah, you can't get rid of it like any shadow. Like you'd have to be
Yeah.
in the dark, to not have a shadow. So like you keep it in front of you as the goal.
Yes.
You don't eliminate it. You just
Mhm.
are aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like to say if your shadow's in front of you, the light is behind you,
Yeah.
guiding your path. And if the shadow is behind you, the light is in front of you in your eyes. You can't
Yeah.
see, and the
Yep.
shadow's out of your way. Yeah. So and another key thing is if the light's behind you, you kind of need someone else to hold it there. So shadow work relies on other
Cool.
people
Yes.
to point out your shadow to you. Be like, don't forget that shadow.
Yep. Sorry, that was my side tangent on shadow work because
Yeah.
it's whenever you find someone who knows it and like has done work on it, you're like, there's so much grace and so much kindness you give yourself once you start doing shadow work. And it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Next question. What's your replacement curse word? Or do you have one?
Oh man. No, we just.
Or do you
I
just say the
cuss.
curse word?
I just cuss in front of her. She knows all the words. She knows when or when not to use them. She'll repeat them back to me. In a sort of cute way.
Yeah.
But I never replaced them. Though she
That's
and her
the
friends.
most common answer. That's the most common answer.
It's
just
funny.
so
They
you
just
know.
like people don't not to teach their kids cuss words are a problem. I mean, like her and her friends invented what the hecky doodles.
That's so cute.
What the hecky doodles. So now we all say that because it's like her
That's
invented.
cute. That's
her
really
invented
cute.
exclamation. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think, most parents I know are more like trying to teach their kids like when not to use words, because that's more important than being like, don't ever say this word. It's like, oh, you're going to say that word the second I turn around, as I think
Yeah.
what all of us know and understand. So like, hey, when you do this, here's when you don't do this. And if you do it at school in front of a teacher, here's the phone call I'm going to get because you use this.
Yeah, let them know the consequence. Nana doesn't like the words, so I tell her Nana doesn't like those words. And like probably at school, you got to teach her the potential consequences.
Yeah.
And we don't ever use them in anger.
Yeah.
We don't cuss at each other.
Yeah.
So like it's different when it's like a casual thing. It's just another word, But today she got she's been into American Girl dolls, and she got a real one. But then yesterday, she talked my mom into getting her this a next generation doll or something, new generation. They're basically like, she's like, it's basically American Girl dolls, but a little crappier. It's the crappier version.
It's the
of an
Russian
American
side market
Girl
version.
because it's cheaper.
You want the American Girl doll over here?
Yeah, this is the crappier version. Because I was trying to get it to stand up and it wouldn't stand. She's like, yeah, that's just because it's the new generation. It's crappier.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny that she said
That's
that.
awesome. That's sweet. Next question. What is like one of your favorite activities or toys to play with your daughter?
Like I really like the whole body game. So I'm glad we're out of the character games.
Mm-hmm.
We played with action figures for a long time, which I really liked as a kid. So we had my old Star Wars toys, so we'd play Star Wars, which I kind of liked. But now we play the live action games. Anything that involves me sleeping, that's a good one. She gets mad at me. She's like, "Okay, you go to sleep and you're gonna wake up." And I sleep like a log.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, you
Okay,
didn't say
Daddy.
when I needed to wake up.
It's not a nap. We're playing.
I'm playing Nap. It's a great game. You should try it sometime.
Yes, but I probably really like that little Joey game. It's fun to be little me and to have her put so much attention on me and save me and care about me and love me.
Yeah.
Like that's probably like, it's her favorite game right now. I actually really like Theory on the Bed too. I like the physical
That's a fun game.
games.
Yeah.
So like, being, roughhousing and being really physical. We make a lot of fairy houses. So I like a lot of crafts too. So
Cool.
if I would go for crafting over games if it was me.
Nice.
And so the one thing she likes to make is fairy houses. So I have all these little bird houses
That's cool.
that I got, and we just like decorate fairy houses, add them to her fairy garden.
I didn't know fairy houses were a thing until like having daughters. Like you can go to Michael's, you can buy all the kits. Like it's a real thing.
Yeah,
and I did
there's a
not
lot
have
of
any
them.
awareness of it at all.
Yep. I get these really cheap bird houses on on Amazon. They're like little, you put them together. They're like six walls and you clip them together with a little bit of glue. They assemble really quick and you can just paint them or glue stuff on them.
Yeah.
They don't last very long outside. You know, they get moldy and they fall apart and, you know, but like they're fun to make.
Yeah, they are. And then last question for you is, what's like your go-to parenting advice to tell a dad? Like if you know someone who's about to be a dad, something like that, they ask you like for advice or, you know, parenting tip, anything like that. What's your go-to?
Yeah, we've covered a lot of them here. I mean, community of dads, critical, must surround yourself with other dads, presence, learning how to be with yourself, let it work you, let it be the thing that grows you up, that be a spiritual growth. Like don't resist the struggle, like embrace the struggle like you would heavy lifting at a gym, you know, like it's a heavy weight, but it makes you super strong. So like embrace it every day like you would go to the gym. And then ultimately shame, like if you're avoiding shame in yourself and in your kid, then like that's like 90% of the battle. Like if your kid can grow up with as little shame as possible, they will become great. I think shame is the enemy. We're naturally wired to grow and become great people. Like we don't have to, we just have to get out of their way. So in my opinion, most of the biggest thing to protect your kid from is shame from the world. And especially in your parenting, like we were parented with shame. And so that if there's one thing we do need to do differently than our parents, it's we've got to get that shame out of there because that is the enemy.
Yep. And because how much of therapy work or personal growth is acknowledging your shame, not dealing with your shame, coming to terms with your shame, understanding the origin, like God, shame and guilt is like pretty much all
learning
of
to
the
love yourself
conversation.
again. I mean, shame is like self-hatred, you know, it's like, you know, and so it's like learning that I'm worthy and I'm okay. You know, that interferes with relationships, with them following their ambitions, with good behavior, with responsible, you know, with health. I mean, everything, it starts there. So that's like number one. If there's no shame, you're good.
Yep. Why did you do this? Because I don't think I'm a good person. Okay. All right. That's brutal.
Terrible motivator.
Terrible motivator. Thinking you're a piece of trash I've never done good things when I think I'm being a piece of trash. You know, it's just kind of how it works.
Makes you easy to control by the king.
Yep.
It does not make you an independent, loving, you know, contributor to society.
Yeah.
You know, like definitely crime and mental illness and addiction and all these issues start with shame. So this idea that shame makes us better, like is the
or safe. It keeps you safe in some way. And I'm like, it kept me controlled. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, complete opposite. So no shame, you're good.
And then last thing is just like moment for self-promotion. So like your Instagrams, your podcasts, how do we find you? All the stuff you got going on, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we have a baby food company, which we didn't talk about, but myserenitykids.com is best baby food on the market. So if you have babies, pouches, puffs, formula, all that, absolute best of the best. And pretty much all grocery stores, you go to the baby food aisle, you'll find Serenity Kids baby foods. They're meat and veggies. And then Dedicated is my dad platform. It's Dedicated Joe on YouTube, Dedicated Joe, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all social channels basically that I've ever heard of.
That you know of at this time.
Yeah, except for the brand new ones. But like all the major ones / you know, at Dedicated Joe.
Yeah.
You get the daily tips and tricks. You've got your episode up there now. Yeah, had you on there. We had to record twice, so got the dress rehearsal and the
third conversation.
And the final.
Man.
Yes, this is our third convo, which is great. So yeah, definitely becoming dad homies.
That's right.
But it's a great resource. A lot of powerful men who are also dads on there, as well as subject matter experts on all things dad. And I really focus on pregnancy through that first year of life. So really that first transition to being a dad. And you know, it's a great resource for anybody who wants that. Yeah.
Because kind of like I stated earlier, that moment is the moment whenever you do have to look up and be like, all right, there's a lot I need to lean into and not run from. And if you can make people aware of that, of like, hey, here's what you're going to face. Here's the questions you're going to start asking yourself. Here's the distance you're going to start feeling. Like, just if you don't know it, then you're going to react badly. But if you know the road ahead of you, then you're like, oh, cool, just figure this out. I got this because I love my family.
Yeah, sure do. Don't we all?
Yep. Yeah, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. I really appreciate it, Joe.
You too. Have a great day.
Sweet. Thanks, Joe. Have a good one. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never Efface Network. Make sure to go to nevereffacenetwork.com to learn more about them.